practical and sort of real world examples that you have of the way that we sell this dynamic and maybe mystify it a little bit in the context of American politics? Like when we start talking about, you know, why should these immigrants who are coming in from Haiti just skip the line, and all of these things? I mean, I guess talk about the different sort of narratives that are deployed that obscure what the actual dynamic is going on here. Absolutely, right.
Like to go a little bit further back than Haiti for a moment, you know, we had earlier in the summer or late spring, you know, Vice President Kamala Harris was in Central America, you know, giving basically these talks, and then I think it was in Guatemala or maybe it was El Salvador, I can't remember which country she was in. She actually like explicitly says, "Don't come. We will enforce our laws. Don't come," right? And a piece that I wrote, like I pointed out the fact that it's like she has the benefit in this case, and to go to that point that you made about obscuring it, right? She has the benefit of time here where she doesn't have to talk about the fact that the last 100 or so, 150 odd years, the US has been involved in some meaningful way, often militarily, throughout most of Latin America. And in large cases has just resulted in massive destabilization politically, economically, and socially, just huge destabilization. But she gets to go up there, right, because there's such a gap of time, because memory is so short here, gets to go up there, and after 150 odd years of imperialist policy that's basically helped create the conditions that force people to migrate to other places, gets to say, you know, you guys have a big corruption problem here and you need to figure it out, but don't look to us for solutions, right? You guys need to stay here and figure it out. Don't bother coming up here, right? And so this narrative just gets recapitulated over and over and over and over again in US politics around migration, because it largely tends to focus on merit, right? Like who should be here. The line, you know, is a big one of those, right? That people should just get in line. It's like, well, it's not, anyone can't just go to their, you know, their local US embassy and say, you know, I'd really like to can I take a number and get in line, you know, to jump on a plane to the US. It doesn't exist. You have to have a legal vehicle to get here. So let's take the common one, family petitions. For example, for a brother or sister of a US citizen who's in Mexico right now, the wait is 1996, I think, right now. You had to have an approved petition that was filed for you in 1996, and they'll give you a visa today.
So it's a 25-year wait if you have family members in this country.
Right, a U.S. citizen family member here in this country. You know, even for grown children, we're still talking about sometimes somewhere between 3 and 15-year waits for you to be able to bring, you know, your child, even if they're grown now, your child here to the U.S., right? And so, you know, when you have that closing off, when asylum is so very strict in terms of the means of lawfully entering the country with some kind of legal status, people are, you know, there's a quote from, I think it was the Second International, that talked about the fact that it's like the whip that drives migrants, the whip of hunger, is going to be stronger than any law that anyone ever passes, and any border that you ever set up, right? And so long as the capitalist forces are at work that are displacing people and causing this level of immiseration, we're always going to have migration, right? But what we lose is in the current level of debate is that very dynamic, right? The driving forces behind that, and instead we end up just talking about who deserves to stay or doesn't deserve to stay, which often centers around some sort of, you know, like, well, their personal situation just wasn't quite horrifying enough and therefore they can't stay. So, you know, to jump back to Haiti, it's like the fact that there were, you know, 2 major disasters and a political assassination, generally not enough to merit asylum.
Folks, there's more of what you've just saw where that came from. That's if you hit the subscribe and like button. Thank you. Really. Thank you.